So, My Hero Academia Vigilantes Manga Chapter 106 has officially released on the Shonen Jump app, and boy oh boy has it been a while since we've had a very good My Hero Academia Vigilantes chapter, and I'll tell you why it's so good right after this intro. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to talk to you about My Hero Academia Vigilantes Manga Chapter 106 titled Tag. And if you didn't know what this chapter is going to be about by the title of the chapter, yes, we are going to be focusing on Koichi and number 6's fight. Sort of. It's less of a fight and, like the title says, more of tag, as we get to see Koichi trying to escape from number 6 and number 6 trying to use his explosion as well as his overclock quirk to try and capture Koichi, you know, with death. And we do get a lot of that in this chapter, as well as we get a few potential reveals, as well as a few more implications about Koichi and his ability and how it actually works. And we'll get more into that later on in the review, but before we do that, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't done so, to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like My Hero Academia content, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and any content involving My Hero Academia. If that's something that you like and you want to see more of, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And without the way, let's get right into the chapter. So, funnily enough, we start off the chapter with Rapt throwing a can at one of the anonymous villains to see if they're active. He figures out that they're not, but Moroyu has to come in and is like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. They could still explode. So yes, they finally understand that the anonymous villains are not moving, as we get Soga coming in asking for a status update, where now Soga has been caught up on the entire situation, such as Rapt and Moroyu are. Rapt and Moroyu tell Soga about how Koichi flew off, came back, and started fighting with number 6, and now they're heading in that direction, as we see Moroyu pointing, as Soga tells them to get to a safe place. Unfortunately, they don't know where a quote-unquote safe place is, but luckily enough, you have the police officers telling them to get out of the way of the vicinity of these villains, as we cut over to the title of this chapter of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, episode 106, where we get to see number 6 just chasing after Koichi. And what is very interesting about this is that we get to see a few panels of number 6 trying to explode Koichi, you know, to death, but he keeps missing over and over and over again, as we get the one panel of us seeing multiple explosions of multiple times that number 6 tries to kill Koichi, but he's unable to do it, as they're doing this at supersonic speeds to my interpretation. And then from there, we go over to once again seeing quote unquote O-Clock, or number 6's master, as he's telling number 6 that, yeah, you're really falling for his plan, hook, line, and sinker. He's probably still going to go and try to alert All Might, which is why he's luring you away from the city, which number 6 responds with, yeah, I know, I just gotta kill him quickly, as we see that he's about to attack one more time, but Koichi is able to dodge at the exact same moment that number 6 is about to attack. And number 6 begins to realize that he keeps missing him and that he won't die, as we get the vestige of O-Clock telling number 6 that, yeah, the reasoning why he's doing this is because every time you strike, you move forward and you jump, and he's able to read that attack. He basically understands where you're going and where you're going to be based off your sound, and he's doing all of this not intentionally, not as multiple processing, but he's doing it all on instinct. So you have to change your approach if you really want to kill him, as we have number 6 understanding that, coming to a realization that, okay, I get it, I know what I need to do, as we get him having this inner monologue about how when it comes to normal humans, that they can only run 40 kilometers per hour before quirks, and how when it came to that speed that they had to deal with air resistance being pushed back on them. And he comes to the conclusion that the best way for him to prevent that drag, to prevent that air resistance from really doing a whole lot of hampering on his body and slowing him down, is to get lower to the ground, clawing his feet into the ground while he's going with this high speed movement, as we get to see that he has now gone into number 6 crawler style, which is very great and very bad, because not only does this mean that he's going to be moving faster, but the only way that he's able to move faster and catch up to the crawler is doing exactly what the crawler is doing, which is probably just gnawing at him so much, And it's very interesting that he brings up the idea that when it comes to air resistance before quirks, that people can only move this fast before the quirks, and that kind of makes sense because when it comes to people who are speedsters like Ida and his brother, how they're able to move that fast, but they probably won't be able to move as fast as they could because of the air resistance. But I would argue that that may not be as much of a factor because when it comes to quirks, since you're born with a quirk, your body naturally adapts to it. So most likely the air resistance for them, such as Ida, would not be as great as the air resistance for number 6 because they were born with their quirks, but number 6 was given the overclock quirk and being able to move at this super fast speed, so air resistance is a bigger factor on him. So yeah, it's very interesting, and that's just kind of my thought for why he's actually going to crawler style. But anyway, besides that, yeah, number 6's crawler style is very effective as Koichi realizes that he is catching up to him as he begins to look at number 6 and thinks, wow, he looks like a wild creature and he's so fast and it's kind of creepy. Which is funny coming from Koichi because he has been compared to a cockroach for how he looks when he's on the ground. So, you know, irony, hypocrite, possibly, but it doesn't matter because Koichi sees number 6 behind him and he uses his shooty go blam, 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 and fires off the projectiles at number 6 to, ironically enough, miss. In the same vein as number 6 has been missing Koichi. Do you see the parallels between this fight and what we saw a few moments ago? Yeah, it's not going to end well because as number 6 dodges all of the shots and Koichi looks at the fact that number 6 dodged all of his shots, number 6, because he's moving faster than he was, comes up behind Koichi and says, "You're in midair." Similar to what we saw last chapter a few chapters ago about how Koichi had a shot at number 6 when he was in midair but failed to take it. Number 6 is not making that mistake and is trying to kill Koichi in midair, and he goes in for an explosive punch and he misses, or should I say Koichi's attack blocks it. But what is weird is he's not using his hands or his feet to block it, and even number 6 is like, he blocked it, well, good thing that I have 2 hands, and goes in for another attack. But that attack also gets blocked as we have the final parts of this chapter of Koichi surviving 2 explosions to the back without using his hands and his feet. And this is something weird, not just for the readers, but even to number 6, where he comments about how he was able to project the force field around his whole body, not just his hands and feet. But that's not the important part that number 6 brings up. He's like, that's an issue. But the main issue is, how is he still able to react to my overclock speed? End of chapter. And this is what makes My Hero Academia Vigilantes chapter 106 a great chapter, because this is something that was actually foreshadowed a few chapters ago when Koichi and Tsukachi, as well as the other officers, were aiming their guns at number 6, and number 6 was about to send the anonymous villains at them. He was about to attack them, but before he could actually attack and use his overclock quirk, also, you know, had Sogas shooting bullets at him, that he was able to dodge the bullets, but he was still able to cognitively think about what was going on, and he was about to use his overclock quirk. But Koichi, before he was able to do it, literally shot him before he was able to use his overclock quirk, which almost led to his defeat. And what was very interesting about that scene is that you also got to see Koichi responding with the other police officers like, hey, did y'all guys see that? Wasn't that kind of weird? Implying that he was able to see number 6 while he was using overclock, which isn't something that a normal person, even with a quirk, should be able to do. So with that in mind, that's something that was foreshadowed in this moment, showing that, yeah, there's something different with Koichi's quirk. It's not just the fact that he's able to just project this type of air force or this type of shield on the ground that allows him to glide, that it's something else, or at the very least, this fight is causing his quirk to evolve to a point where he's able to project it from all parts of his body. So most likely within the next few chapters, we are going to see Koichi's quirk fully go through possibly a different evolution that allows him to get advantage over number 6, or at least put number 6 in a situation long enough for the reappearance of a certain character to come in, hopefully Knuckle Duster, to help fight with Koichi to finish off number 6. So overall, this was a really good chapter for My Hero Academia Vigilantes, a chapter that we haven't seen in a while. Not only did we get a lot of comedic moments from Soga wrapped in Moryu at the beginning of this chapter, as well as that ironic moment of Koichi looking at number 6 and saying that, wow, he looks weird and creepy, not knowing that that's how he looks when he's using his sliding glide or his Quirk. But we also got to see a lot of action in this chapter, as we get to see Koichi avoiding number 6's attacks over and over again, and also seeing how Koichi is able to, at the very least, on instinct, be able to dodge and as well as intersect or understand number 6's fighting style and how he uses his weapons, whether consciously or unconsciously, and is able to dodge and keep himself alive. So it's very interesting to see how Koichi is able to sort of kind of act as a hero on instinct, as well as avoiding number 6's deadly blows, as well as we get to see more that number 6 isn't just like a crazed lunatic, that he's actually very strategic, mainly due to the fact that O'Clock is kind of a second conscious of number 6 and is more logical and rational side, and not just number 6 when he's going crazy. So he's able to adapt to the situations and able to come up with plans on the fly, which leads to him copying Koichi's style of using the crawler style, clawing his hands to the ground while running, so that he's able to get faster and catch up to Koichi, which he probably would have killed if it wasn't for the fact that potentially Koichi's quirk is evolving. So yeah, really enjoyed the chapter, really enjoyed the action, the dialogue, everything about this chapter of My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and hopefully we can keep this up to chapter 107, coming out in 21 days. Yes, we're going to be on a 3-week break. Yes, I'm very sad about this. Yes, I wish we had more Vigilantes, but I'm going to have to deal with the fact that we're going to be on a 3-week break. And I'm just gonna have to live with it, as well as you're going to have to live with it as well. But hey, at least you have this review right here, right now. So yes, that's all I really have to say about My Hero Academia Vigilantes for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this chapter, hopefully you enjoyed this review, and what do you think of number 6's crawler style? Do you think that it looks cool? Do you think that it looks creepy? And do you think that he hates the fact that he has to copy Koichi's move? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. Leave a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to be notified for whenever I upload more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!